But for the meantime, I want to talk about the Republican convention, which is just finished now. Just finished in Milwaukee. And this is, there were some really amazing scenes. We're going to go through them all with Jennifer Ewing, who I think is perhaps the only person I can think of who can add some sense to the madness of what is going on in American politics at the moment. This is a sentence I never thought I'd utter, but at the Republican National Convention, here's Hulk Hogan.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
Only in America. If you haven't seen the clip, I highly suggest that you have a look at it if you're listening on the radio, as I know our majority of our viewers and listeners are. You will have seen Hulk Hogan, for it was he, tearing off his shirt there to reveal Trump-Vance sort of t-shirt underneath it. Well, I can guarantee that neither Jennifer nor I will be ripping off any shirts over the course of the next 15 minutes, although, you know, we'll see. Jennifer, honestly, that was just such a moment, wasn't it?
No, it was, and actually, I think there's sort of a wrestling theme there, because you'll recall Dana White, who's chairman of the UFC, the fighting group, he introduced President Trump. They've been friends for 25 years. So between Saturday's fight, and the two people kind of leading up to Trump speaking, a real theme there. But look, a lot of the people that he will have been talking to, a lot of Americans, they watch this stuff.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
like
it's really popular.
NASCAR, right? I mean, it's very, very popular.
Well, British people often, some of them do, but most people don't know what NASCAR is. But it is absolutely huge in America.
Yes.
It's kind of racing. It's really incredible. And actually, you mentioned Saturday there and the assassination attempt last week. Well, Donald Trump was talking about what was going through his mind when someone tried to assassinate him. Let's have a look at this.
When I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear, I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. I immediately knew it was very serious, that we were under attack, and in one movement proceeded to drop to the ground. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did, they rushed to the stage.
Even that tone of voice, the way he's talking, is something we haven't really heard very much from Donald Trump previously. I mean, he is slightly, okay, yes, his tone, his demeanour has changed a lot in recent months. But do you think this has changed him?
I mean, people say you have near-death experiences and it changes you. And that, you know, as much as he got up covered in blood and put his hand in the air, I mean, that was probably down to shock. I mean, also that fight or flight instinct, which he clearly has the fight.
Fight, yeah. You know, raising his hand and going fight, yeah.
That's innate. But, I mean, my God, the guy almost had his head blown off. So, yeah, I do think that changes you. And while, okay, they've upped his security, we know that. The head of the Secret Service did confirm that they've upped his security.
On earth is she still in position? I mean,
no one gets fired in the Biden administration. Nobody's been fired for Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Nobody's been fired because our, you know, head of defense, Lloyd Austin, went missing for 3 or 4 days, and as did his deputy in January. So people just don't get fired in that administration.
What about the main man himself? Could he announce he's standing down? What do you think is going to happen with President Biden?
Is this a trick question or a rhetorical question, Peter? You know, you and I have been talking about this for, gosh, 10 months.
Yeah.
Or as long as I've known you. So, yes, it will have to happen for sure. Although just this afternoon, I think about an hour ago, his campaign manager, Jen O'Malley Dillon, came out and said, nope, he'll be back on the campaign trail next week. Now, their strategy seems to be have him talk more, and that will, you know, make people see that he's okay. But the complete opposite has happened.
He's forgetting people's names. He referred to someone as the black man.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was Lloyd Austin.
Yeah,
that was,
Lloyd Austin,
in all fairness, you know, Lloyd Austin did disappear for a while. So,
yes, maybe he forgot.
You know, maybe he did forget his name. But no, I mean, I mean, on a human level, it's very sad. You know, his wife, his son, his brother and sister should be saying, hey, it's time, let's sit down. But the reason this is not happening is, one, they're very stubborn, and they have incentive to keep him in office. And also, the other thing, this thing has dragged on so long, and even though he originally told us he would be a transitional president, i.e. one term, it's getting so close to the wire. It's, I think, about 100 days until the election. So
and less than a month now until the Democratic convention in Chicago.
That's exactly right. So they are in a very bad position because a lot of the talent, shall we say, on the Democratic bench that you and I have talked about before, whether it's Gavin Newsom, you know, the governor of California, not everyone's taste, but, you know, there's a market for that progressive liberalism. Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan, Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania. There's a whole group of them, talented people on that bench. They're not about to step up at this moment because it's too late, and they don't want to blow their careers up being the guy or woman who lost to Trump. Yeah. So, you know, then, okay, fine, we put Kamala at the top of the ticket, and that could happen, you know, after Joe Biden accepts the nomination at the convention, because then she gets to keep the money that's been donated, because it's the same ticket, but she polls lower than Joe Biden does. Yeah. No, I just don't. I agree with you. She's not a popular person and a terrible communicator as well. Unlike Jennifer Ewing, who is spokeswoman at Republicans Overseas UK. Jennifer, thanks for coming into the studio. Really appreciate that. There's so much to talk about. We'll continue to do so, I'm sure, in the days and weeks to come.